And we're jumping in. So, right at the beginning of the match, we can point out that SoiGia is at 3. Oh, and we got a rarity. I love it when this happens. So, if you look at the mini map, you can see little lakes everywhere. These lakes are, um, it can happen, and usually, I want to count this because I think it's usually 11 lakes. I want to count these right now, so I hope you don't mind. It's going to be distracting, but one. I counted 11. Aw, damn, 12, 13. That's close, that's close. That was really close. But anyway, this is a really interesting start for OcTieu here. As, because of these lakes, he might even think this is the river with some sort... Actually, no, he can see this. But he has a 3 shorefish start, which is a significant advantage when you get these little lakes, as they can have fish in them. It can be a varying size, and you can get deep in them. So that is something to note about these lakes. Um, so OcTieu, when he goes for this, is basically starting with a pit. He doesn't really have any wood starts. He doesn't have much wood for this to be like a super valuable pit, but the fact that it's shortfish makes it just much, much faster. It's incredibly fast what he's doing right here. So he's going to have a really good time because of this. Now, SoiGia will not know about this because when there are lakes on the map, it's only one side of the river portion that's going to get those. That's going to get those. That's late. That's going to get those lakes. Sorry, just had like a, I don't know, conniption. So SoiGia opting for the Gazelle push strategy, which is very common, and it's looking really good. He's got a very clean TC at this point. With this Gazelle getting pushed in just a second, he's gonna have a really nice looking TC here. Meanwhile, OcTieu is just starting his Gazelle push. It looks like he may have had a bit of an issue with these two in getting them over, but he will bring them over. Let's see the speed difference. So no difference at all. Both players exactly on time with the villager production. We'll see if that is able to be maintained by OcTieu's start here. It looks like it will be. He's going to get enough food. The question is, does he have enough wood? Yeah, he's going to do a wood pit here, it seems, and lure these two gazelle in. I think that's his play. He has to watch out for these two lions. Now, SoiGia has access to this elephant and this elephant, so this shorefish start is going to get balanced out by the elephant count. This elephant's pretty far for OcTieu to lure. We might be seeing that happen. Another thing to note is the second crossing, way over here on the right side of your map. The left side has the... I would consider this a main crossing this game, and SoiGia already found it. He also has access to these two extra elephants here, and that's going to be pretty powerful for him. So he has a safe gold in the back here. This is kind of an awkward hill. I don't know if he's ever going to want to come up here. Maybe he can hide some bills back here. But we see that SoiGia with the faster start with the pit, getting another wood pit up already. Or getting a wood pit up now. Meanwhile, Soy has a lot more food income, I believe. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out in terms of what players have been going to. Now, throughout this tournament so far, SoiGia has been going to nearly always 22 villagers before clicking Tool. Whereas, I believe OcTieu was clicking on 20 in his match previous. So we've hit 20, and now I want to see if OcTieu is going to click up on this, and if SoiGia will continue to make villagers for a little bit longer, and maybe even be dropping a dock, although it looks like his wood income is going to be a little shabby for a while. He's a little behind on that wood income, so let's check this. Both going up to 21. Alright, so we're getting a really nice mirror here so far. The house wall already coming in for OcTieu. He will be able to, with the barracks, he could wall with one wall tile here. And then he would have a really wallable map, here to here, and here to here. And that would give him a lot of space. He'd have access to stone, plenty of food for a while. And two medium-sized forests that aren't going to offer a lot of protection, but for him, it should be enough if he makes safe in this area. Meanwhile, SoiGia's map is a lot more dense with the forest, but that's not always a good thing because it can be harder to find super accessible wall spots. I can imagine walling here to here, here to here, here to here, and around this. It'll be an interesting spot. he also has this really easy wall spot. So if he can make safe, I think we're going to be seeing scouts from SoiGia. Not to give you guys too many spoilers, but that's something I believe we can expect. Whereas OcTieu in his games has been going for more standard builds, although his previous games were a little mismatched. It's still good to note that he has gone up to 23, where SoiGia has opted for 21 villagers in this. So a little different for both players, I think. Maybe we're going to be seeing a bit of a bigger game rather than a game on speed. A game about speed, not on speed. That'd be funny, though. SoiGia looks to be going for this dock block, actually. But does he know about this? That's the question. That's the danger with the dock block. Or is this build... So he's hit Tool. Is he about to go drop a stable? I think he's going to do a forward stable. And it's going to be too late, I think. Oh, he already has the forward stable. No, this is gonna come in time. Or is it... So what is this going to be? A market? What are we going to see from him? Slinger come out? If it's a slinger, he's in a lot of trouble. He needs to wall these slingers in safely. If he leaves this gap open for much longer, the scout is going to come out. Wait, does he not know? Okay, he knows where to go. He knows where to go. The scout's coming in already. Oh my gosh, is OcTieu about to get destroyed by a scout rush? Oh no. The villager's coming forward to wall. Oh, and the micro? Okay, so OcTieu, for the most part, is safe. So, he has to deal with this scout, first of all. Second off, it's basically it's up to SoiGia to keep this scout alive at all costs so that he can, while bopping on this house, he can disrupt whatever villager comes forward to repair this. He needs to keep, yeah, and he's seen this too. So he needs to keep the pressure up here with this scout, and he needs to stop this with this scout. That's what needed, okay. So I don't know how SoiGia can get in at this point. OcTieu is just feeling the pain of this rush right now. But with stone walls and slingers, he's going to make safe. And a bowman comes out. Could we be seeing a quicker bronze time? Oh wait, he's open. Oh no, okay, no, he walled that off. It's fine. There's no way in here for now. He's going to come around to this house, maybe wail on that for a second, but not before his opponent is able to... Not before his opponent is able to get around and wall this off. Sorry about that, I got a little distracted. So, OcTieu should notice this and wall this off. The question is now, if we look at economy, OcTieu has a 5 vil lead. Now, something to note is that SoiGia has a market up. He's probably done the chopping upgrade. He's built his dock. And he has the map. He has map control right now. And that was really unexpected. Okay, so OcTieu has hit bronze really fast off this rush. SoiGia was unable to convert this scout rush into damage, and that's gonna be kind of devastating for him. And he's building more scouts. He's committing even more to this. I don't know if that's the right move, unless he's already clicked up as well. He may have, to be honest. He may have. He's had a lot of food. He had a ton of food at base. He's been getting this. Scouts are expensive, but not ridiculously expensive, as they used to be. So what can we expect? Oh my god. Does OcTieu know about this? This could be a game changer. I know SoiGia is building a transport first out of this dock. It's about to pop out, and SoiGia's gonna get in. SoiGia's gonna get in. Oh my gosh, this could be game changing. This could be the play of the night. This could be the play of the tournament. Gets across, and they're in. Oh my gosh, before the wheel upgrade, they're in. No, don't go there. Okay, oh, you're picking him up. Okay. Oh my gosh. I'm just gonna give you guys a little replay of this transport here. A little messy while we watch this. These scouts, this is live right here. These scouts getting absolutely immense amounts of damage in on OcTieu. Oh no. For OcTieu, and look at the timeline. This is exactly what he needed. No wheel upgrades still. His only villagers are here, and more scouts. SoiGia is fully committing to the scouts at this point. He knows he cannot even get close to Bronze Age. The little lake that gave... The lake that gave is the lake that took. The lake that gave is the lake that took. Look at this. That's so poetic. OcTieu, with this storage pit and the 3 shorefish, was able to get a really fast bronze time off of a rush, but also it provided a doorway for SoiGia. This doorway, and it is causing issues. The wheel upgrade is in, but is it just too late? I mean, scouts are fast too. Like, he's got nowhere to go with his economy, you know? He's got nowhere. Oh, this is actually really important to note. This stable from him is bold, and I like it. We're going to be seeing a chariot, I think. That's probably all he can afford is a single chariot. Now, the question is, how much damage can he get done here with one chariot? Probably a lot, if I had to guess. Probably a lot. A single chariot could do a ton of damage from OcTieu. But does he have food? OcTieu's completely eliminated. OcTieu's eliminated. He's got 2 villagers here, chopping wood potentially. He's trying to get to the berries. He knows he needs to get... And here's the single chariot. It is out, but what upgrades does it have? None. No upgrades, but that's a big chariot. That's a honker. What happens here? You need to shut down these farms. This is getting tenuous for SoiGia. This chariot has a lot of value right now, and it is killing a lot of his economy. SoiGia needs to react to this. But maybe he doesn't. Maybe he knows the bowman. The bowman to kill these villagers is going to be huge. He needs to separate. He's about to jump through. He's jumped through. Does he know? Does anyone know? Does anyone notice this? This is open. This is open. Meanwhile, this chariot is ravaging this farm. But this is open. This was open anyway. And away he goes. I think Soi was preoccupied with this section of the map, but he did find these villagers. And the yes comes out from OcTieu. GG. What a game. Holy shit. What a game. That was insane. That was absolutely insane. Both players played really well. When OcTieu hit bronze there, it's like, what the heck? He just hit a 12.5-minute bronze with slingers on the map and under the duress of a scout rush. You have to commend that speed. But then you absolutely have to commend that bold dock in the transport and the fact that OcTieu didn't scout the dock. OcTieu could not see the dock. Oh my gosh. Oh my god. Look at the kills to losses. Just look at the timeline. SoiGia swept him away. Even once he got wheeled, he couldn't do anything. The full commit to the scouts pays off. So the question is now, I think that's all in our minds. Yeah, that scout rush was absolutely perfect. And B, does OcTieu adapt? So, if you've been watching this tournament, and following, this is a little bit of a spoiler, so mute if you don't want any spoilers about previous games. SoiGia has been exclusively applying this strategy, right? And with this strategy in mind, he beat Tokyo, which was a bit of an upset, I think, for everybody. But I mean, So he's clearly shown that he's really strong, so maybe it's not as much of an upset as we thought. Although, could this strength be coming from the surprise factor of these scouts? Now, OcTieu and TLC haven't really been playing on Definitive Edition, and I'll be honest, I'm not even sure they're aware of the most recent patch. If you recall, this happened to scouts, which really made a big difference. This one little change, actually two really big changes, have really made scouts valid in the meta. Like, quite honestly, they're a strong unit at this point.
Yes. Yes.
They're a really strong unit right now. They can provide a lot of value. They're not as expensive. Against slingers, they absolutely destroy things. They do decently against axers. Not great in terms of like cost efficiency. And when grouped, axers can kind of just block in with their numbers the scouts. So it's not a great trade, especially considering that axers can get the +2 defense upgrade, which kind of nullifies a lot of the power of scouts. Um, anyway, that's enough about scouts. I want to see how people counter this. Now, SoiGia is an excellent player, there is no doubt, and he's employing an excellent strategy. Of that, there is no doubt. But I personally do believe that there are ways to play around this, that there are ways to counter this, that there are ways to beat this. Age of Empires is a very strategy-heavy game at this point. I mean, mechanically it's intense,
Yes.
but picking the right strategy matters. With this change to scouts, there's a lot up in the air about what units are viable in the Tool Age, because previously it was simply always Axe or Slinger. Now there's this Scout variable,
Yes.
and then there's the consideration that maybe Bowmen have a place, but they're also getting a little buff, yes. Looks like we're ready to go,
Yes.
however, so I'm going to jump right into this game. Game number 2 of this round 2. This is just round 2, and we're getting games that are that sick. That was insane. Once again, SoiGia spawning at basically this part of the map, right? Wasn't he right here last game? Anyway, at 6 we have SoiGia in yellow, and at 10, OcTieu spawning a Shang. Of course, a Shang. Why do I always say that? It's such a habit when I cast a game to say that someone, to like call out someone's Civ, but like this game is specifically only going to be Shang, so I don't think there's really a need to say that, right? So OcTieu actually is a really beautiful pit here. I'm a huge fan of this storage pit. These 3 stragglers really help negate the fact that he has bad stragglers around his main town center. And also this one shorefish is just really nice. I thought there was another one there, but there isn't. And during this time, he can lure the gazelle to either his storage pit or his town center, making it just this is like really low micro. It's pretty easy. It's hard to mess this up at this point. So he's already found the crossing. I'm going to give you guys a look at this minimap. So there are 2 crossings here. There's this one and this one. If I had to guess, I would say this one that we're zoomed in a bit on here is going to be the more contentious one, as it is much closer to OcTieu's base. OcTieu, sadly, has kind of a rough map. A lot of his wood seems to have spawned on the other side of this river. His closest wood over here is quite a distance away. I mean, that's pretty far. That is pretty far. It's hard to say, but I would assume this would be the best pit spot for him right here, seeing as he has the 2 elephants right here. I think that's the only pit spot I meant to say. Not it's hard to say, but it's like easy to say. I just slipped out the tongue, whatever that's called. SoiGia has access to this elephant right away, and if I had to guess, I'd say he's going to lure that really quickly and get a lot of ills going on this food income. Man, I mean, if that game repeats itself, if we get a repeat of game 1 in this, I don't know what'll happen at this point. Does OcTieu adapt? Does OcTieu change his strategy? Does he wall quicker? I mean, he had such an easily wallable map, and he walled very fast, right? So what could he do to be even faster than that. I guess he did leave that gap open for a bit of time. Maybe erroneously thinking that he was safe. The river barely played any portion, any bit into that last match. Other than the fact that that little lake gave SoiGia a beautiful opportunity to transport over. I'm still kind of in shock about that play. That was incredible. That was play of the year that I've seen for sure. Transports like that, it's something you always realize you should have done a little after it, a little after the fact. And when you do them during the fact, usually something goes wrong with it, like the player notices. But it was just like the perfect amount of tiling away that the dock was perfectly in the fog of war. The villager that came out from OcTieu didn't see the dock, or no, the house didn't see the dock right. Like, it just all worked out for him. OcTieu getting both of these elephants lured pretty nicely back down, all the way down to his town center. Very clean. He's got his berries still up. He has yet to build his granary. So he can't click yet, even if he's really fast. Okay, no, he's building the granary now. Both players at 18 or 19 bills. Looks like Soy has been... They've been having a weird tug of war with the villager timings. Maybe one player got housed for a second, or briefly forgot to keep clicking. Now, the elephant for Soy finally coming in. He's got a clean wood pit over here. The makings of a house wall. Not much else to say about this just yet. I think a lot of contention is going to happen around these two hills. I predict that Soy might build... I actually don't know. I think he's going to try to find this crossing, but if I had to guess, I'd say that OcTieu is going to be much more careful this game. I think he's going to pay much more attention to paint. I think he's going to realize the threat of that. And both players going up to 22 vills this time. So last game they both went to 21, I think, right? This game they both go to 22, so maybe their maps are both a little bit worse. A little bit of a lag in game. I think it'll buff out. It buffed out. Whenever that happens, it's like a little heart attack. Like, the game was just frozen for a few seconds, and I'm just like... But we're good. This is a really big forest. I just want to point this out. Like, this isn't really important, but like for a medium map, like if you look at the minimap, just like look how big this forest is in comparison to like everything else. This is a honker. Big chunk. Anyway, back to what's important. The players playing the game. SoiGia has found some stuff. He made it his way across with this one vill, but like I said, I think OcTieu's not going to let this happen again. He's not going to let this villager comfortably build the stable just outside of his walls again. I think he recognizes that was a pretty big error. That was a blunder at this point. And SoiGia's artifact did come all the way to here. So he knows that there is... He saw the berries, and the artifact got taken, so he's going to know that there are vills on those berries. So, using this house and this berry, he's going to know where his opponent is, like, pretty effectively. The question is, where did this villager go? Oh, no. Oh? Okay, so he's good. He can keep running for a bit. But the clubbers slowly catch up every time. Where do I hear... You guys hear that? Oh. Man vs. Beast. OcTieu's clubber bravely fights off a crocodile and wins. And tool age for both players comes in at nearly the same time. Sorry, I missed that. I was watching a boxing match. This villager finally goes down, which is going to give OcTieu a little bit of a lead in economy at this point. Actually, a 2-vill lead in economy now, which isn't insignificant. So yeah, defensive scouts. I'm a little more nervous for this. So maybe to OcTieu's discredit, no, he knows about this one. He knows about this, but he does have this clubber here, so he knows what's going on. He's gonna see the scouts come in, and he should get house walls off on all of his stuff. I see an archery range with no market. This is an archery range with no market. This is a bowman with 2 damage. Does he know? Well, we know that scouts don't do so great against bowmen. They really don't, because the bowmen are kind of like how slingers do well against axers. The problem with slingers against scouts is that scouts are so fast and can close the gap so quickly that the bowmen having access to the +2 armor means that they can really go head to head with these scouts for much longer. Look at this, as the scouts are trying to run around getting damage, it's like a little tower, you know? And this might be a valid way of defending. It looks really bad for OcTieu here, though. This is messy. The vultures are circling his base. These yellow hawks. Any villager out of place. This villager is super weak and exposed. So another range. Oh my god, he's going full bowman. This is the coolest game ever. This is the best series I've ever cast in my life. This is the coolest thing, guys. This is the best. So we're getting a full bowman game. Unless he can somehow bronze really quickly. I don't see how he can do that without a market. Is this walled? No. So this is a hole here. He's gonna have to, like, drop a house probably here. Now, do the bowmen succeed here? I think they will. I think he's got 5 bowmen at this point. The scouts really just can't do enough to this, because they do 5 damage per hit. You would think. But with +2 bowman armor, they actually only do 3 damage. And with 35 health, these bowmen are kind of little tanky guys, you know? And look at that. They just swipe at these scouts. Swipe, swipe, swipe. This is going to be a really interesting matchup. This is something we haven't never seen in a tournament. Scouts versus bowmen. Have you ever seen that? I haven't. Have you even played this? I don't think I've played something like this. At least at this level of competitiveness. So these bowmen getting caught out. One might go down. But the rest, and this one's probably also going to go down, but the reinforcements are arriving. This is a lot of bowmen. The bowmen can swarm. The bowmen are cheaper. And the bowmen are more effective in combat than these scouts. Did OcTieu just find the counter to the scout rush? It's the bowman. Who needs walls? He's playing a very open style of gameplay. He's leaving his map wide open. And he's letting the scouts enter, but when they do, they're going to die. And scouts are a really expensive investment. Even with the food cost reduction, they're still expensive. The bowmen are 20 resources cheaper. And if I had to, like, guess in combat against the scout with full upgrades for both, I'd say they are more than 75% less effective. Wait, that wasn't the right way of phrasing that, but you know what I mean. The cost differential of 80 to 60 doesn't make up for the combat effectiveness. Like, these are more effective in terms of price. That's how I want to phrase it. Now, let's see how this is going to be. This is a battle. This is when do you see this? And this is exactly what I was talking about. Look at these. None of the bowmen died. None of those bowmen just died. Give me a little replay of that, because that was probably the battle of this game. It's going to be pretty intense to see if this can continue. Is this sustainable for any player? This is a lot of wood income. The ship micro is starting to come out. And you know what else is really cool about this? Bowman. Oh, sorry, I need to get that off the screen. Bowman. Bowman can help fight the river, too. This might be one of the most innovative games, innovative tournament games in a while. So these bowmen are now coming across, and if SoiGia has walls anywhere, they won't really matter. And he can't fight these. This is too many bowmen for scouts. And meanwhile, he will take all this wood advantage. He's finally going to be able to make save. And he's going to start building on the sea. Now, he doesn't have enough ducks to outproduce Soy for now. So he still has sea dominance. But that house is already down. The house is down. Here's another fight coming in. The villagers coming forward. Maybe the bowmen, but villagers are so bad against bowmen. Oh my. Oh my. Oh boy. Oh boy. This is a mess. This Yikes, one might say. Yikes. Oh. Finally did I die, but at what cost? We're gonna check the timeline after this fight. This fight is very long, by the way. Yikes. Yikes, indeed. Timeline is now looking to be in favor of OcTieu. Wow. This has been a bloody game, to be honest. Very, very interesting how this is unfolding. So the Bowman, an unconventional choice, for sure. But against the Scouts, seemingly very effective. The Scout ships from SoiGia are still patrolling the sea, so for OcTieu, he doesn't really have the water as an option right now. Building some unconventional farms here, maybe in the heat of the moment, it's okay, because he does have more access to clean farming space. Wow, this game is crazy, and this fight is still going on. He's pushing at this wall tile. The villagers coming forward to try to save the day, but they are just going to get peppered down and destroyed by these bowmen. The bowmen counter aggression coming in on the farms. I think that is going to be... This is going to be too much for Soi, I think. Unless he's got a bronze up his sleeve, I don't see what he can do about this. Like, what can he do? Slingers? Uh-oh. Slingers are the counter to Bowman. That is true. But he doesn't have the mining upgrade. He doesn't have anyone on stone. His economy is... Wow. Well, Axers actually are countered by Bowman very heavily. Bowman are like the classic counter to Axemen. So the only real tech switch that Soi has available to him is Slingers or trying to bronze off of this. But I think it's going to be difficult for him. Oh my gosh, and let's watch this migration of villagers for a second. Alright, sorry about that, I'm back. The migration of vills is still going on. The fishing boats from OcTieu are on the run, so Soi still has access to the sea, and he still has control of the sea. Now the bowmen have control of his base, however, and the slingers, without the upgrades, are really just not going to do enough damage. This is rough. Maybe to stem the bleeding, and OcTieu hit bronze. So I think... And unlike last time, Soi doesn't have a transport to transport over 5 scouts into his base. Although, this game, that may have actually been an option. Actually, no, not really. The bowmen are just too much. I think when we look at the timeline, it's just going to be obvious. Yeah, that's really rough for Soi at this point. This is a crazy game, though. The meta is changing. That is certain. There are now, I think I can say, that scouts are valid and they are strong. I will argue that. But clearly, as I discussed before this game and after game 1, there are counters, there are methods, there are ways to beat the scout rush. And yes, I would agree that maybe Soi overcommitted to scouts, especially once his opponent started going bowman. I think that's a sign that you could do a tech switch or do a unit combo. But I don't know. It's hard to say. It's hard to judge that stuff. You know, it's really easy to say he should do XYZ, but in the moment, he's still just calling GG at this moment, right now. That was probably, well, last game had the craziest highlight ever with that transport ship. This game, definitely the most unique tool war I've ever seen at like a high level. Like this, if I told you that I was spectating a game of scouts versus bowmen, you might just assume it's a noob match, right? Like it just doesn't seem logical. Like none of that made sense. Like you don't make scouts or you don't make bowmen, but they are they are strong. They are strong units. It's an effective method. So we're gonna jump right into game 3 here. And I'm curious to see what both players do now. Soi's tried this twice. Once very successfully, but maybe very successfully on a bit of a gimmick. That transport, you can't rely on that kind of strategy because you don't always get those little lakes. Yes, it is 1-1. I need to update the scoreboard real quick. Score 2. Score 2. Where's score 2? Sorry, it's really awkward to do this. It's like I have a folder with a file, like a text document that I have to update. So this is score 1. Goes up to 1. Control S. Close, and now it updates. Perfect. Yeah. It's updated. Okay. Ooh, it's back. Whew. Crazy game. Absolutely nuts. Absolutely a pleasure to watch.
Start the game already. Yes.
I just want to get 2 yeses, and then we're good to go. Sorry.
Yes.
Alright, in game number 3. Soi up here at 12 in yellow, and OcTieu at 9. He's got these Gazelle kind of against the wall. This can lead to issues where Gazelle like kind of glitched and stuck into the wall. But I expect OcTieu to have answers to that, ways to get around that issue. Now, both players going for the granary, I believe. Yes, both players going for granary. Wow, and so map. Oh my gosh, do you see what I see? Do you see what I see? 1, 2, 3. That if this game, like this set, this little series here, if this best of 3 comes down to the fact that one of the players scouts 2 crossings and the other scouts a third, I'm gonna laugh. I'm gonna laugh a lot. Although I don't see how that's really going to be particularly influential. I mean, maybe. I mean, access to these berries is pretty cool, but I don't know. I doubt that'll be influential. But if it does, I'm profit, and that's crazy. But it probably won't. So we'll see. Does OcTieu find? He fought a lion. Does he find his gazelle here? He should find him now. What? Oh no! Don't tell. Okay, there. Yep. Oh no! I hope he sees that. He does need those. Both players have a pretty awkward map here. Actually, the gazelle are in awkward spots. This house is just there. Things are weird. This cliff is very strange. This gold is oddly smushed against the wall. These elephants on a hill. I mean, the player that is able to build buildings on this hill might control the game. This hill is also really influential, especially with these gazelle here. This is a very tall hill. I mean, it's not often you get a 5th tier hill, a 4th tier hill. Sorry, and I had to count that twice. And that's about it. What else can I say about this map? The elephant for OcTieu, pretty far away. This elephant is kind of far. This elephant is pretty far too, but I've seen OcTieu do lures further than this, so I don't think it'll be an issue for him. For Soi, however, this is just too far to lure, especially considering how much of a maze this is. Now, interesting about Soi's map, something I just noticed, and I hope you guys noticed this before me. Wall, wall, wall. That's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tile wall. That has to be the best possible, like, wall count tile. Like, tile wall count that you can get on this map. With 7 tiles, he can make safe in a huge area. With gold, stone, food, plenty of wood that can go for a long time without being disrupted. The question is, what do the players go for? I'm going to check the timeline real quick. 17-17. Everything's fine there. Yeah, see, do you see what's happening here? You see how these gazelle are, like, just not budging from the wall? This is a big issue for him. Like, he's got to... I think if you do two, yeah, like if you build houses and stuff, you can like bump them out, but it takes some effort. And when you have to put that effort in, whereas Soi didn't have to put that effort in, his was up on this hill, which didn't lead to any issues. He just has to be careful not to accidentally push these guys into the wall while luring them over. Soi coming across the map here, he's gonna find this crossing for sure. His vision is like to here. Alright, so he found this crossing. Now, I, again, just want to stress, this probably won't be important, but just don't forget that there is a crossing here, and that if players are checking across the river for some reason to, like, just see if they can make it across the river or across the map, and both of these are somehow walled, they will autopath to this, so it's not super bad to not... Yeah, this is bad for OcTieu. I mean, this is really bad. This gazelle still just not budging from the wall. This one, he couldn't get off the wall. These ones are kind of in really bad spots. That's rough. I mean, that hurts to see. You don't want to see a game 3 decided by something as silly as the gazelle getting locked in with the wall. But, again, these long Ellie lures, no issue for OcTieu. I think they will more than make up. Okay, that villager's really hurt, actually. But it will more than make up for the lack of gazelle here, as SoiGia does not have access to those gazelle, to those Ellies. I mean, maybe he could lure these, but I don't see him doing that. So what's this Vil doing? What's he doing here? Is he going for another dock? Okay, so Soi is docked over here. He's kind of claiming this side of the river, and that's a double dock block for OcTieu here. Now that's a statement. You know, when you do two docks like this, at the start of the game like this, you don't have the wood to, like, really make full use of these docks. This is an early wall to stop villagers from building things, to stop those clubmen from getting in, to stop that first scout. But, like, maybe he can build a few fishing boats with it, with both, but it's really hard to justify that wood when you need to save it for your tool age buildings, you know. See, one dock does plenty fine on a small map like this of getting enough fishing boats out. Now, Soi's villager barely alive. OcTieu's map is looking alright. He does hit tool first. I'm just going to check the timer right now. I'm sorry, I keep forgetting to do that and check Vil counts, but I don't think it's like the most important thing to obsess over. So 24 for Soi is a pretty big... Oh, and he didn't scout this. He would not have done this if he knew about this. Oh, come on. Dang, he had... That's a lot of wood to invest in a wall that's really weak, when this is a free wall that's really strong, because it can't be broken ever. It's interesting that he got a Vil to here, but he didn't get a Vil to here. You hate to see that. Like, that just feels bad to watch. And he's going to now spend a lot of stone walling this off. And when he sees this later, he might even feel silly, because that's just the kind of mistake that you just hate to see that. Now, on the other side, OcTieu might just be going for Bowman again. And we see Bowman. Is he just expecting the stables? And we're getting a mirror matchup of the game previous. I don't like this for Soi. These scouts coming out at 10 minutes and 45 seconds, though that's kind of late for the scout to come across the map, especially when your opponent is going to do this. And now OcTieu's expecting this. And now OcTieu has 2 docks on the coast. That's enough. He's protected all of his vills in this wood line. He's going to have a really solid economy stuck behind this. And he's going to have the bowmen to stop all these. And bowmen are far cheaper, and when they can shoot over a wall, you don't even have to consider cost effectiveness in battle, because the scouts just can't do anything about it. Now, Soi, on the other hand, is also walled off. As much as I gave him a little a little dirt for not walling here. It's still an effective wall. He is walled off. And he's able to start farming and using all of his wood. Now, both players are going to be getting scout trips out pretty soon. But could we be seeing a greedy bronze from OcTieu again? So, in the past 2 games, he has hit bronze first, and it's usually been a little bit of a surprise. He's fast with these bronze times. The economy is 30 to 29. The timeline slightly in Soi's favor, but that's because he has more military units out, I believe. And now these scouts are going to do absolutely nothing, especially with the scout ship here, to help shut down anything that they could do against the fishing boats. The scout ship from SoiGia coming across, but there are 2 from OcTieu. This is going to be tricky for Soi. It seems like he's just a little bit behind on this rush. Investing a lot of food into this, and he still hasn't even found this. Oh, well, no, he did find this. He saw this. He's looking for stragglers. But OcTieu, smart as ever, sharp as ever, very, very on top of things, has not kept any villas out on the open. All of his villas are in this little hole here. Except I lied. This guy. This guy, obviously. How did I miss this? This is why I need to click this button everywhere, every now and then, so that you guys can point out stuff that I miss, because I missed this, and now I feel foolish. This could be a big impact. I think that we're going to be seeing OcTieu hit bronze pretty soon, and I think we're going to be seeing... Actually, maybe not. Maybe not just yet. He did do the upgrades, so the bronze will be a little bit slower. And this bowman moving out is a bold move. It's going to tell Soi that his wall is not completely closed. It's going to tell Soi that something from OcTieu is out of place, you know? OcTieu's painted. He's going to have to know that there's paint as soon as he sees this bowman. Paint just referring to buildings being placed kind of on your opponent's side of the land. You know, it's like painting your color on top of their color, which is why it's referred to as painting. Now, the correct move from Soi here is transitioning into slingers, and now these archers are kind of rendered a little useless for the time being. SoiGia does not yet have the market tech for the slinger range, but maybe that's about to come in. I believe it must. Now, this is a big attack coming in from... This is a really big attack coming in from Soi here. I think OcTieu's going to have to invest a lot into defending this. His villagers will go down. The bowmen do have the 1 extra range over slingers, and at this point too, because Soi has yet to click the slinger attack upgrade. Now these bowmen are going to keep pumping out from this, but this is the scene to watch. I think Soi's really going to need... What's he attacking? This house. Soi's really going to need... Soi's really going to need to get that attack upgrade, I think, if he wants to succeed in this fight. Oh, his stone is under duress. I didn't even see that. Where's he going to get stone? He's out of stone. That's really, really unfortunate. And look at this, OcTieu going for scouts of his own in his base, and they counter slingers. This game, this is it. This is what we want. This is it. This is the top level. This is what you want. Sorry, I don't know what I'm going to say. I'm going to say that one more time. This is what you want. Anyway, that's the end of that. This house wall is about to collapse, but is that what SoiGia wants at this point? His slingers are going to be exposed. That scout will run forward into its own demise. Now, this is probably more interesting to look at, as Soi does not have access to any stone right now. Unless he's mining stone across the map. He's not. I'm just going to check out everything here. The scout war is wow, that's actually pretty close. HP advantage is actually pretty even. There's a little bit of lag in game right now, but I think that's going to turn out okay. Now remember, bowmen kind of counter scouts, so these scouts coming back to help his town center will not be too helpful, but this massive slingers is in, but without the upgrade, they're going to be a lot worse against these villagers. Now, back at this, oh man, this is getting problematic for both players. This is a large army, scout on scout with some slingers in here. Meanwhile, bowmen against the villagers and scouts. I think Soi's going to have enough scouts at home to defend. Meanwhile, OcTieu is going to be forced to like do some stuff. He's going to have to be a little more defensive here, whereas Soi has cleared his base out. In one more bowman, he will have cleared his base out. Another bowman streaming across, but at this point the main threat is over. The fight on the sea is going in favor of OcTieu, whereas this woodline is still under duress from these slingers. Still no damage upgrade from these slingers, but I can only imagine that SoiGia is queuing up vills or sending some vills to get stone to get that upgrade. It cannot be stated how important that slinger upgrade is. +1 range, +1 attack. But I guess they're doing their job well enough. As Soi has won on this side of the map as well. He's won on both sides of the map for now in terms of military. The farms are going to be hit. Did he just... What happened here? Somehow the scout ships crossed paths. They both went by each other. That must have been some weird right-clicking maneuvering. Very interesting. A lot of scout ships from Soi. If Soi trades his sea for Red Sea, he comes out on top because Red's farms are no longer in production. So he's okay to trade this. He shouldn't care. He knows he shouldn't care. Wow. This is insane. This match is very close. But I think Soi's gonna have a huge advantage. The timeline really in his favor. But like the whole premise of this match was really close. I think Soi just came out way ahead on this time. Way ahead on him this time. Teching into the right units. He went scouts, saw the archer range, saw the preemptive bowman, got the tech switch into slingers, and he didn't even do the upgrade. Neither player has done the slinger upgrade. And this fight is going to be absolutely brutal for OcTieu. OcTieu's forced off of his farms. All of his external villagers are dead. He's got this one guy. That's going to be game. This bowman comes up, but it can't do anything. He can only put slingers into here, maybe, and
Yes.
that's good game. SoiGia just played incredibly well. That fight, it was hard to follow all of that, but man, that was a good game from both players. You have to commend both OcTieu and SoiGia for an extremely